In this heart-wrenching story, a woman's quest for answers uncovers a shocking revelation that not only threatens to tear her family apart, but also exposes a sinister truth that has been buried for years, waiting to be unveiled. Helen Dawson happily married to her loving husband, Matthew Dawson, for 5 blissful years. Their love had blossomed, and they were blessed with a beautiful baby girl named Mia. Helen couldn't have asked for more. She had everything she dreamed of: a loving family and a bright future ahead. As Mother's Day approached, a mixture of joy and sorrow filled Helen's heart. While she reveled in the joy of being a mother herself, the day also served as a sad reminder of her own mother's absence. 15 years had passed since the tragic hit-and-run accident on Mother's Day that stole her mother's life away, leaving behind an unfillable void in Helen's heart. The incident had been a cold case for years, but someone had witnessed the make and model of the car that had taken her mother's life. Little did Helen know that the truth was lurking in the shadows, awaiting its moment to unveil itself. In the days leading up to Mother's Day, Helen couldn't shake the feeling that something wasn't quite right. She began noticing peculiarities in her husband's behavior: frequent secretive phone calls, hushed conversations, and restlessness that seemed to consume him. Matthew's restless nights and sudden absences during odd hours increased Helen's unease. Driven by curiosity and a gnawing sense of unease, Helen decided to investigate the matter on her own secretly. She meticulously pieced together fragmented clues and, with the help of a private investigator, uncovered a shocking revelation, one that left her paralyzed with disbelief. It turned out that the accident that claimed her mother's life all those years ago was not a mere coincidence. The truth was chilling and hard to fathom. Helen's husband's father, Richard, was behind the wheel of the hit-and-run car that had forever changed her life. He had purposefully taken away her mother, leaving Helen's life shattered. Richard's motivations for taking Helen's mother's life were rooted in a dark secret from his own past. Years before the accident, Richard had been involved in a series of illicit activities, deeply entangled in a criminal underworld. He had amassed a substantial amount of wealth through illegal means and had managed to evade capture by law enforcement. However, Helen's mother, Sarah, had inadvertently stumbled upon Richard's illicit activities. She had accidentally encountered evidence that could have exposed his criminal dealings, putting Richard's entire operation at risk. Fearing the consequences of his secrets being revealed, Richard decided to eliminate Sarah, silencing her forever. Richard orchestrated the hit-and-run accident, ensuring that Sarah's death would appear as a tragic accident rather than a deliberate act. He thought that by erasing any trace of his involvement, he could continue his life of crime undisturbed. Unbeknownst to Richard, someone witnessed the accident and saw that it was Richard who was driving. He knew of Richard's criminal dealings, so he only told the police the make and model of the car, but didn't tell them Richard's name, but now, feeling safe to do so, decided to tell the private investigator. As the years went by, Richard's guilt and paranoia grew, fearing that Helen and his son might one day uncover the truth about her mother's death. The weight of his heinous act torments him, ultimately leading to his downfall when Helen, driven by her own search for answers, exposes his involvement in the accident. Matthew, Richard's son and Helen's husband, had been unaware of his father's involvement in the hit-and-run accident that took Helen's mother's life many years ago on Mother's Day. Richard had kept his dark secret hidden, shielded by a facade of normalcy and paternal love. However, as time passed, Matthew noticed peculiarities in his father's behavior. Richard's guilt and fear of being exposed gradually took a toll on him, causing changes in his demeanor that Matthew couldn't ignore. Matthew often thought about his childhood and remembered his father's mysterious phone calls, often taking them privately, and his frequent absences during odd hours, leaving Matthew to wonder about the true nature of his father's activities throughout the years. Matthew's love for Helen and his growing suspicions about his father's behavior motivated him to investigate. He embarked on his own investigative journey, delving into his father's past and seeking answers to the mysteries surrounding him. During his investigation, Matthew stumbled upon some circumstantial evidence that hinted at his father's involvement in the accident. He discovered a hidden folder on his father's computer containing details about the make and model of the car involved in the hit-and-run, copies of paper clippings, along with some vague references to his father's shady dealings. Piecing together these fragments, Matthew's suspicions grew stronger. However, he grappled with conflicting emotions, torn between his loyalty to his wife and the love he still held for his father, despite the potential darkness lurking beneath the surface. Matthew's internal struggle persisted until Helen, driven by her own search for the truth, confronted him with the evidence she had gathered. In a tearful and tumultuous conversation, Matthew's emotions spilled over as he confessed to Helen the fragments of information he had discovered during his own investigation. The weight of their shared knowledge forced Matthew to confront the painful reality that his father, the man he had looked up to his entire life, was responsible for the tragedy that had haunted Helen for so long. The revelation shattered Matthew's perception of his father and left him torn between his loyalty to Helen and the remnants of his love for Richard. Nevertheless, his unwavering support for Helen prevailed, and together they made the difficult decision to bring Richard to justice, seeking closure for both themselves and Helen's mother. With the evidence gathered by Helen and Matthew, they handed it over to the authorities, exposing Richard's involvement in the hit-and-run accident that took Sarah's life. The truth finally came to light, and Richard faced the consequences of his actions, paying for the life he had taken and the pain he had inflicted on Helen and her family. In the aftermath, Helen and Matthew faced their own healing journey. Together, they sought solace and strength in each other's love, understanding that even amidst the darkest secrets, love could still conquer. Helen held her daughter Mia close, vowing to fill her life with happiness, love, and memories of her grandmother. If you enjoyed this video, I know that you will enjoy the video about a man who gifted his girlfriend Dogecoin. She hated the gift. She told him to take it back. She ended up leaving him. However, years later, Dogecoin was worth millions. Check it out here on the end screen or on my channel. Please don't forget to like and subscribe. Thanks for watching. Bye for now.